गुरुभ्यो नमः। गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुर्देवो महेश्वर गुरुः साक्षात् परब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। गुरवे सर्वलोकानां विशेषज्ञ पुरोगणां निधे सर्वविद्यानां श्रीदक्षिणामूर्ते नमः। वक्रतुण्डमहाकाय सूर्यकोटिसमप्रभः निर्विघ्नं कुरु मे देव सर्वकार्येषु सर्वदा। शुक्लां भरधरं विष्णुं शशिवर्णं चतुर्भुजं प्रसन्नवदनं ध्यायेत् सर्वविघ्नोपशान्तये। व्यासं वष्टनुत्तारं शक्ते वोत्तर्मकल्मषं पराशराप्तं वन्दे जगदानं तपोनिधिं। व्यासाय विष्णुरूपाय व्यासरूपाय विष्णुमे नमो वै ब्रह्मदेवासिष्ठाय नमो नमः। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्. So you're looking at Sanat Sujata Parva, Sanat Sujata's discourse to Dhritarashtra on Atma Jnana. So he was explaining about Paramatma, is how to attain Paramatma, what is the means of attaining Paramatma, and that knowledge, Atma Jnana, how to acquire that one. And he was explaining that. And why he was explaining? Because Vidura said he cannot explain those things because he's a Shudra, he cannot explain those things. And Vidura prayed to Sanat Sujata to discuss on those topics. And why Vidura was having these discussions with Dhritarashtra? Anyone remembers? Vidura was explaining all the goods and what the conduct should be, how it should be, and everything. Why this discussion started between Vidura and Dhritarashtra? Because Dhritarashtra's anxiety, high anxiety, right? So he was worried after Sanjaya returned from Upaplavya. Sanjaya became very angry and he started scolding king in front of everybody, and he said, you are going to destroy entire race. Your desire, your greed is the root cause. I'm very angry with you. I'm not going to tell you anything more. I will come back to assembly tomorrow and I'll tell you everything about. And then he just walked out. And hearing that, Dhritarashtra became very worried and he could not get sleep. He immediately summoned Vidura to come and he asked Vidura what is good, and Vidura explained all those things which we call as Vidura Niti, right? And then Vidura remembered Sanat Sujata, and Sanat Sujata came and explained about Atma Jnana. So now we continue from there. So while they were conversing like that, Sanat Sujata and Vidura, entire night passed. So they were discussing all night about all these things, and Dhritarashtra's questions were answered by Vidura and then Sanat Sujata. After the night has passed, morning, king woke up. Well, he did not sleep. He finished all his morning rites and everything, and then he went to his court hall, and there he went, and everybody else assembled in that. Bhishma, Drona, Kripa, Shalya, Kritavarma, Jayadratha, Ashwatthama, Vikarna, Somadatta, Bhalika, Vidura, Yuyutsu, everybody came there, and Dhritarashtra came, and then also Dushyasana, Chitrasena, Shukuni, Durmukha, Dushara, Karna, Uluka, Vingsati, all this came with Duryodhana to the assembly. So all of them came there, assembled in that court. When they were all filled like that, then Sanjaya arrives to that court, and then on his arrival, they inform king that Sanjaya is here after returning from after going to Pandavas. He has returned here and he is back. So then once he comes, Sanjaya starts describing what all things happened in that his meeting with Pandavas. He says that as per your order, as per your message, I went to Pandavas, and Yudhishthira congratulates all of you and he wishes good for all of you, and he pays respect to all the elders and those who are equal. He pays respects and he blesses all those who are younger to him. So he conveys that message from Yudhishthira. So first thing, Yudhishthira's message is to worship everybody, that elders in Hastinapura, and everybody younger than him, he blesses them and he wishes them good. So after Sanjaya says that, Dhritarashtra asks him tell me in that assembly, taking my message to there, what did Dhananjaya say? Okay, so Dhritarashtra did not ask about anybody else. He immediately goes to Dhananjaya. Because his worry was he knows that Arjuna alone can defeat everybody. And even after listening all these things from Vidura and Sanat Sujata, he is still thinking about war and how he can rescue his children from this. So how he can win them over Pandavas. So Dhritarashtra asked about Dhananjaya, what was Arjuna's message? What did Arjuna say? So then Sanjaya starts narrating. So he says that let everybody listen to what I'm going to say. Those Arjuna's words, and it was uttered in presence of Yudhishthira. Yudhishthira sanctioned this message. So that means Yudhishthira did not say, Arjuna, don't say this. That's rude. You should don't say this. So Yudhishthira did not stop him. So it had Yudhishthira's agreement. So that means Pandavas, everybody agreed to this. It is not Arjuna just in anger saying something. Whatever he said is acceptable, agreeable to everybody from Pandava's camp. And also, it was in the hearing of Keshava. So Krishna was also there when Arjuna said these things. So Krishna also did not stop. So that means even Krishna agreed. So that means Panchalas, everyone agreed to what Arjuna had to say. What did Arjuna say? Arjuna said, Oh Sanjaya, go and tell this to Dhritarashtra's sons in the presence of all the Kurus and also that Suta's son. So who is that Suta's son? Karna. So in the tell this to Duryodhana along with Karna, that Karna who is a foul tongue, who always speaks bad language. So what did Karna say in that assembly? Draupadi Vastraparana, when they were disrobing her, he talked rude things about Draupadi, right? And also when Pandavas were leaving for Vanavasa, he also made fun of them and he said a lot of rude things. So that Karna of wicked soul and little sense, and he who has his days numbered. So Arjuna says that Karna's days are numbered. Why? Because Karna always desires to fight against me, and that fight is going to come soon. And tell this to Duryodhana along with Karna and all the kings that assembled who wish to fight against Pandavas, tell all of them and with their counselors and everybody, tell this message. So Arjuna instructs this to Sanjaya, go and tell this to Duryodhana. Now, Sanjaya says that even Devatas with Indra as their leader at that time, whatever Indra says, just like that, Pandavas also listened. All the Pandavas, the Srinjayas, so that's the Panchalas who came with Drupada's army, all of them listened to what Arjuna had to say. So Arjuna continued his message. He says that if Dhritarashtra's sons do not surrender King Yudhishthira his kingdom, then they must be they must be committing they are committing this sinful act, and because of that and for that sinful act they have not reaped their uh, consequences of that. So they have to face up to this, and for this sinful act, for not returning the surrendering this kingdom, they have to face up to that. And because it can be nothing else, they have to face up in the battle. Bhima, Arjuna, myself, and the Ashwins. Ashwins are Nakula Sahadeva. And Krishna, Shini's son, that is Satyaki, Drishtadyumna, Shikandi, Yudhishthira. All these people he has to face, and Yudhishthira himself, just by thinking, wishing them ill, he can consume entire Kaurava army. He has such a strength, and Kauravas have to, Duryodhana has to face all these people. So why Yudhishthira can destroy entire Kuru army just by wishing ill of them? Because he has gone through all that austerities in those 12 years. And when he was doing there, going to all the Tirtha Kshetras and doing all the austerities and penance, he has accumulated that much energy in him, right? So then he says, Arjuna's message says that if Dhritarashtra's sons desire war with these people, that is Bhima, Arjuna, Nakula, Sahadeva, Yudhishthira, Krishna, Satyaki, Drishtadyumna, Shikandi, and everybody, Virata, and all the other people that assemble there, then Pandavas will make sure that this will happen. So if Duryodhana wishes the battle, then it will happen. Just as Pandavas slept in that 12 years on the bare ground and suffered, even worse sleep will come to Duryodhana in the battlefield, where he will sleep in that ground. His body will lay on that ground, deprived of life. So he will be dead in that ground, even worse than what we had to go through in that 12 years when we were in the forest, suffering in that forest. And he has to face up to Yudhishthira, who is endued with modesty, wisdom, asceticism, self-restraint, strength, and as a regulated virtue. And such a king, uh, he has to face up to. And but even though Yudhishthira has forgiven everything and patiently borne all the misdeeds of Duryodhana, now if he wishes battle, he will get that. So Arjuna then continues, he says that when that Yudhishthira, who is as Saul's under full control and will release those arrows at the Kurus in anger, that anger has been accumulated for many, many years, then Dhritarashtra's son will repent this war. So Arjuna here goes on saying the consequences of war, what's going to happen, and because of that consequence, he says that those consequences, Duryodhana is going to repent for this war. So if Duryodhana wishes the war, then we will fight, but he's going to repent when Yudhishthira releases those arrows which he has been holding back with anger for many years, and all those angry arrows coming with that anger, that will consume entire Kuru race, and that will, at that time, Dhritarashtra's son will repent. And similarly, as those arrows come from all around and burn the entire Kuru race, just like in a dry grass season, the fire consumes everything. In a summer season, fire consumes the dry grasses. Just like that, Dhritarashtra's entire race, entire army will be consumed by that Yudhishthira. And when Duryodhana sees Bhima, that uh, angry Pandava of terrible strength, and who is coming in his chariot with mace in his hand, and he's in his very angry when he comes at that time, when that Bhima comes in his chariot, Duryodhana at that time, he will repent for this war. And similarly, when Bhima comes for fight, how Bhima comes, Arjuna says that he always comes in the van of the army. So he always at the front. Okay, he's not protected by anybody, surrounded by anybody for his protection. He comes at first, and he is even uh, even his followers are afraid to look at him when he is angry. And such as Bhima, when he comes like a Yama himself, Duryodhana will recollect these words and he will repent this war. And he will see the elephants looking like mountain pigs killed by Bhima, blood flowing like from a broken jar, broken jar water, just like water flows from a broken jar, just like that blood flowing from all the people and the elephants and horses. That time, Dhritarashtra's sons will repent for this war. Similarly, when uh, falling upon again that Bhima with his mace in hand slaughters all of them, uh, that time Dhritarashtra's son will repent for this war. When Bhima again goes and with even in situations of great danger, he goes and attacks, that Bhima coming in his chariot alone and will crush the crowds of all the charioteers, all the Maharathis, Rathis, Maharathis, everybody, all the ranks, infantry and everybody, he seizes in his noose, which is strong as iron, and he swings everybody and throws everybody to the ground, and the elephants and everybody he mows down. That time, Dhritarashtra's son Duryodhana will repent for asking for this war. Arjuna says that when uh, Dhritarashtra's son sees that his entire army is consumed by us, consumed by the arrows that shot from us, just like a hamlet which thatched roof is burning, all the houses with thatched roof, or in a field of ripe corn when corn plants are drying. At that time, if fire catches, it burns the entire field. Just like that, by lightning, if it is that cornfield is burning, just like that, this Bhima, when his weapons hit Kuru army, that time Duryodhana will repent for this, uh, asking for this war. Similarly, he talks about Nakula, who is very much capable of shooting the arrows by hundreds and hundreds at a time, and who has controlled all his anger, who has slept uh, very little when he was in the woods in the forest, and that Nakula, when he is angry and when he releases, when he comes to attack, that time Duryodhana will repent his uh, calling his decision to call for this war. And he says that similarly, Sahadeva also, uh, whose car is noiseless, whose chariot has good noiseless wheels, and his motion, that car when his chariot is moving, it's very difficult to, it's incapable of being obstructed. That means nobody can stop him. And with very well trained horses, when he is in the battlefield and releasing those arrows, with all the warriors running away in all the different directions, at that time Duryodhana will repent for this war. Similarly, he goes on describing about sons of Draupadi, the 5 sons of Draupadi, when even though they are very young in age, but not in their actions, well versed in all the arms, and that young blood flowing and reckless for their lives when they attack this Kuru army, at that time Duryodhana will repent for this war. Similarly, when Abhimanyu comes there, who is like just like Krishna himself, overpowering the entire Kuru army, showering the arrows and this Kuru army, at that time, looking at that Subhadra's son, just like Indra himself, uh, he's looking like Indra himself, and Yama coming to consume the entire world at the end of the yugas, just like that. When Abhimanyu comes, then Dhritarashtra's son will repent for this war. Then he talks about Satyaki, who is grandson of Shini, and he is skilled in weapon, and he is equal, and he's got nobody is equal to him, and he's very 4 gaja length bow he has got in his hand, and when he comes, that Satyaki comes and arrows shot by him, at that time Duryodhana will repent for this uh, war he is instigated. Similarly, that Satyaki, who knows all the weapons, all these divine weapons and everything, when he releases that, at that time Dhritarashtra's son will repent. Then he talks about uh, himself. Arjuna talks about himself. So when they see me in that terrible car with gold and bright gems, drawn by the white steeds, white horses, and furnished with a banner bearing the device of the ape. So that Vanara, that Hanuman flag, terrible ape that's there, guided by Keshava himself as the charioteer. When at that time, when I come in that battle, at that time Duryodhana will repent. And when he hears that twang of the Gandiva uh, pulled by my fingers encased in leather gloves, that twang at that time like a thunder, hearing that, when Dhritarashtra's son will repent, seeing his cow, his people running away like cows running away from the battlefield, when like that, he will repent. And when the entire sky is covered in arrows, and the darkness covers the entire battlefield because of the arrows covering from my bow. At that time, he will repent. So he says that, then he says that when those broad-headed arrows shot by me, when the strike of the all the youthful warriors, uh, at that time he will repent. Similarly, when he sees the excellent warriors from his side, all the Rathis, Maharathis, and Adirathis, all of them were there when they are fighting, but when they are being killed by my arrows, at that time he will repent. So, like this, when you see my chariot with Gandiva, Vasudeva in it, and the Panchajanya Shanka, and also Devadatta Shanka, and my white horses, all these things, when you see, at that time, he will repent. And he, Arjuna also says that when previously, when I was doing my Sandhya prayers, morning prayers, and doing Arghya, at that time a Brahmana spoke to me, and he told me that you will have a very difficult task to execute. You will have a very, you will have to fight uh, with your enemies. You can either take Indra riding on his excellent horses with Vajra in his hand, walk before you and killing all your enemies in the battlefield, or you can have Krishna, the son of Vasudeva, protecting you throughout this riding on the chariot drawn by the steeds, horses headed by Sugriva, Saiva, Sugriva with them, with those horses, Krishna. So Arjuna told that Brahmana who said this, Arjuna can have two options. One is he had to fight the enemies with Indra going in front of him with Vajra, killing all his Arjuna's enemies, and Arjuna going behind him, or Krishna coming as a support here, not doing battle but supporting him, and but giving Arjuna support. And Arjuna says that relying on those words, I have chosen to not I have chosen to pass over Indra. So I said I don't want Indra because Arjuna wanted to win on his arm strength with Krishna's support. He says, I preferred Vasudeva as my ally in this battle. So I have Vasudeva with me, and looking at this, Dhritarashtra's sons will repent. And it says that Krishna, so he is obtained by me, he is with me, and I see the hands of the devatas in all this. So he says that all the devatas are with me, with us in this battle. So those person whose success is only wished for by Krishna, uh, if Krishna wishes that this person should be successful, even just by taking up the arm in his arms in his hand, then the enemy will be won over. So if just by if Krishna wishes, anything can happen. That's why we are confident, and Dhritarashtra's son will repent. So the one who wishes to battle with us has to face up to Krishna, and Krishna is endued with great energy, and he wishes to, he is capable of crossing the entire ocean with his two arms, and such a person, if one tries to face up to Krishna, it is like going and trying to slap the Mount Kailash with two palms. So going and trying to squeeze it, we can't do anything. Just like that, facing up to Krishna, one will not do anything. That Krishna who faced up to entire Bhoja warriors and carried off Rukmini as for making his wife. So, and from after that, from that Rukmini, he had Pradyumna as his son. So such a Krishna is with me. And he says that the Krishna, uh, it was this favorite of the Devatas, that having speedily smashed the Gandharvas and conquered all the son Nagnajit, forcibly he liberated the confinement of king, Sudarshana of great energy. So again, Krishna, he talks about Krishna. All these stories come in, some of these stories come in Bhagavata Purana. So, and it was Krishna who slaved King Pandya uh, with striking his breast, and also moved on the Kalingas and in the battle, and also he uh, the battle he uh, killed Kalinga's king as well, and then moved because of that Varanasi remained for many years without a king, because it's that king who was Kalinga's king who was owning that was very difficult to be defeated, was killed by. And then Arjuna talks about Ekalavya. So this is where, from after Adi Parva, I think this is the first time we hear about Ekalavya. And I don't think there is much story about Ekalavya in Mahabharata, apart from well, Drona's episode earlier when he was learning, and then after that, what happened? So here we learn that Ekalavya uh, used to always challenge Krishna for a battle, and he was killed by Krishna. Okay, and similarly, it was Krishna with Balarama as his side, defeated or killed wicked Ugradena's wicked son, comes in front of all the people assembled, and then he gave that kingdom back to Ugrasena. So it was Krishna who fought with King Shalya, the Lord of Shobha. So we learnt about this in Vanaparva, right? So Krishna, when Pandavas were in went into forest, at that time Krishna comes there and he says, I didn't know about all this dice game and all these things that happened in Hastinapura. If I knew, I would have come and stopped. Then at that time, Yudhishthira asked, where were you? And he says that I was in a battle with Shobha, right? So Shobha's king. So here Arjuna mentions that he says that he killed that lord of the king of Shobha, who's with his power of illusion, he was there, and uh, he was killed by Arjuna. And similarly, Krishna went to Pragjyotisha, which was very incapable of accessible, inaccessible, and unbearable. And he went there and he killed Naraka, son of Prithvi. Again, this story does not come much in detail in Mahabharata, but it referenced in a couple of places. So Naraka was killed because he kept Aditi's earrings, which was taken by force, and Krishna killed Naraka and returned those earrings back. So, looking at this again, in the he going to there in that Pragjyotisha, he killed many 6,000 of asuras, and he's killed Mura, uh, the Rakshasa named Mura, and that's why he's called Murari. So Krishna killing all of them and Naraka, and he returned the earrings to Aditi, and blessed with pleased with this action what Krishna did. Indra and other devatas blessed him that fatigue will never be his in the fights, and nor the sky or the water or anything can stop when he goes in when he goes on a battlefield. Nothing can stop him. So uh, any or any weapon that's released uh, can never penetrate his body. So Krishna gets these three boons from the devatas uh, as because of killing Mura and Naraka and returning these earrings. So again, Krishna, with this, Arjuna says that in Krishna everything exists in him. Yet Dhritarashtra's son Duryodhana tries to capture this Krishna and make him a prisoner. and that Vishnu, he tries to make him a prisoner. How can he do that? And that wretch, he will, because of that, he will face the consequences. Then Arjuna comes down after explaining the strengths of his side and who is there and what they can do and what the consequences of Duryodhana's decision. If he decides to go in a battle with Pandavas, Arjuna says that after going down to Bhishma, Drona, and Ashwatthama, and also Kripa, I will fight for the kingdom. So if they decide to come for the battle, after bowing down to all these people, I will fight with them for the kingdom. Again, even if Yama comes himself, uh, so I'm sure we will bring the destruction of the sinful people, because and we will fight with all these Kauravas and we will defeat them. So then he says that if they defeat us, on the other hand, if they defeat us, then that's fine. So that's also part of what as a Kshatriya we want to achieve. That's fine, and so it doesn't matter. So the words here Arjuna says, and when we go to Bhishma Parva, Bhagavad Gita, first chapter, Arjuna's words are completely opposite. So here he talks about even if we are defeated, it's fine, but we are going to defeat everybody and everything. But the words completely opposite. So we will look at that in the Gita discussion. So again, he says that I will kill everybody, Duryodhana, and with all his kinsmen, everybody I will kill, and it is certain that it's going to happen. And it is very clear with all the Brahmanas who are versed in who have knowledge of various sciences, various shastras and everything, who are of good behavior, well born, acquainted with cycles of years and study of astrology, and who is capable of understanding the certain motions of the grahas, planets, and also nakshatras and everything, and who are capable of telling the mysteries of the fate and answering the question relating to the future. So that's all the astrology related. Such a people have told that there is a great destruction that's going to happen of Kurus and Srinjaya. So, and ultimate victory of the Pandavas, of that of Yudhishthira, uh, that's going to happen. So that has been heard by me, that has been told by the Brahmana. So Arjuna here tells everybody, including the people assembled. So this Arjuna's message was told to Sanjaya in Upaplavya. Arjuna was sitting with all the uh, his brothers, his all the supporters, right, to Drupada and everybody. So he says that Srinjaya is also he's included. So that means the Panchalas who are supporting there, he says that their destruction is also going to happen in this war. So they all knew that they are going to die. And Arjuna also here sends the message that Kurus will also die. So everybody on Dhritarashtra's side, Duryodhana's side, they will also die with ultimate victory on Pandava. So they knew that there is going to be a huge amount destruction of both sides, and both Srinjayas and Kurus will be completely, there will be great destruction. So again, he says that Krishna also sees this invisible future. Uh, he sees these things as well, and also my foresight also sees this future where there is going to be a great destruction and victory of Yudhishthira. That's what I see. The if Dhritarashtra's sons, Duryodhana and others, if they fight, they will not live. And my bow with Gandiva is waiting for those arrows to be released. Its bowstring, it is waiting for it to be stretched, and arrows are waiting to fly away and attack those people. And that's why my flag staff, that's the flag I have, that ape on my flag, is crying when Arjuna you're going to battlefield. So it is making those hideous noises, the scary noises, and that's going to happen. So single-handed, I can dispatch everybody to death. I can use all the weapons, divine weapons, Sturkarna, Pashupata, Brahma weapon, and all the other weapons that Indra gave me. Everything, I can release all of them, all those weapons for the destruction of this Kuru army. So, O Sanjaya, go and tell that Duryodhana uh, that this is what he is going to face up to, and ask uh, Bhishma, Kripa, Drona, Ashwatthama, and Vidura, ask them to tell Duryodhana that may these Kurus live long. So make sure that they tell Duryodhana to stop this war. Let Duryodhana not make this decision, because if the war begins, it's the complete destruction of Kurus and Srinjayas. That's why don't go there. So when they were saying that, Bhishma, when Sanjay was narrating, Bhishma then starts speaking. He says these words to Duryodhana. He says that once upon a time, Brahaspati, Indra went to Brahma, along with him, Marutas, Vaisus, Agni, Adityas, Sadhyas, Saptarishis, Gandharvas, Vishwasu, Apsaras, all of them went to Brahma. And having seated, all of them seated there, having gone there and bowing down to Brahma, they all took their seat. At that time, two rishis, Nara and Narayana, they just left that place, and then looking at them, Brahaspati asked Brahma, who are these two who leaving this place without worshipping you? So normally when you go into respectable elderly person, before you say, Namaskara, I'm leaving, right? But these two rishis, Nara and Narayana, they just walked out from Brahma's assembly. When all of them are seated, they just walked out. And then Brahma says that these two, endued with great ascetic merit, and they are of great energy, illuminating both earth and heaven, and they are Nara and Narayana. They dwelling in the region of Brahma for some time, and they just left, and because they are here to support, they are here. They exist only for the destruction of asuras. And Bhishma continues and says that having heard about this from Brahma, Indra with all the devatas, he goes to with Brahaspati and everybody goes to Nara and Narayana and worships them, and then those rishis, Nara and Narayana, they ask, name a boon, what do you want? And then Indra says that, give us your help. Then we will do as you wish. That's the response from Nara and Narayana. And subsequently, with their help, Indra defeated all the Daityas and Danavas, and that Nara, he is the one in the battle defeated thousands and hundreds of Pulomas, Kanjas, and it was Arjuna going in the with in the battle, defeated Jamba and Hiranyapura. We heard about this, and Nivata Kavachas, all this he defeated. And it is that Arjuna who gratified Agni, having vanquished Devatas, Indra at their head. So Bhishma narrates that this Arjuna is Nara. So, and then he also talks about Narayana. He says again defeated all the Devatas and all the Asuras and everybody, Daityas, Danavas and everybody, and they are none other than Vasudeva and Arjuna. They are these Nara and Narayana, or Arjuna and Vasudeva. They are here, incapable of being vanquished by anybody. Narayana is Krishna, Nara is Palguna. They are born of this Paramatma. They are Vishnu's. They are Vishnu themselves. Just as this is what Narada has told me, and they are here. Uh, it is impossible for them to defeat them, but Duryodhana never listens to me because of this Karna, Shakuni, and Dushasana. He listens to only them. He never listens. And then at that time, Karna becomes very angry. He says that why are you scolding me every time? I will alone defeat everybody. Okay. And then what Bhishma does after that, we'll look at that next time.